A goal is a dream with a deadline. At the age of 28, John stood in front of his bedroom mirror, staring at his reflection. His thoughts were jumbled, his mind crowded with questions. For years, he had dreamed of building his own business, of being his own boss. But for years, it remained just that, a dream. He had read all the books, listened to all the motivational speakers, and yet he was still stuck in the same place. The dream felt too far away. He had the knowledge, he had the drive, but every time he thought about taking the leap, fear gripped him. He was paralyzed by the idea of failing, the fear of stepping into the unknown, and the overwhelming uncertainty of the future. Instead of action, he had spent countless hours planning, researching, and talking himself out of making the decision to start. His dream had always been one day, not today. But one day, everything changed. That morning, John read a simple phrase in a book by Napoleon Hill that caught his attention. "You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great." John stopped. The words hit him like a lightning bolt. The realization was instant and powerful. He wasn't lacking in knowledge, and he wasn't lacking in desire, he was lacking in action. It wasn't about waiting for the perfect moment to start. It was about taking that first step, no matter how imperfect or uncertain it seemed. Today, he would stop saying one day and turn it into day one. The starting point of all achievement is desire. For as long as John could remember, he had said one day. One day he would start his business. One day he would finally quit his job and take the leap into the world of entrepreneurship. But that day never came. He was stuck in an endless loop of procrastination, convincing himself that he needed more time, more resources, more experience. He had convinced himself that success would somehow just come to him when the time was right. But now, in front of the mirror, John understood something crucial. One day would never come. If he kept waiting for the right time, the right opportunity, or the perfect moment, he would spend his life dreaming without ever living those dreams. The truth was simple. One day was just an excuse for procrastination. Success comes to those who become success conscious. John decided it was time to make a change. Instead of waiting for the stars to align, he would create his own opportunities. His journey wasn't going to be easy, but it was going to be his journey. The first step was making a decision. Today would be day one. The fear didn't vanish, but he knew that success wasn't about eliminating fear. It was about moving forward despite it. Day one, the leap of faith. John woke up early the next morning, ready to take action. He didn't have everything figured out. In fact, he didn't even have all the resources he needed. But he had something more powerful, the desire to change. He grabbed his notebook and wrote down his business idea, something he had been contemplating for months. He broke it down into simple, manageable steps, setting up a website, contacting potential clients, drafting a business plan, and dedicating time each day to work on his idea. At first, the work seemed overwhelming. But as John took one small step after another, he began to realize something important. Every action he took brought him closer to his goal. Each step, no matter how small, was a victory. And each victory fed his desire to keep going. Don't wait. The time will never be just right. The key was consistency. John couldn't expect instant success. There would be mistakes, failures, and setbacks. But the important thing was that he was no longer waiting for perfection. He was taking action. He understood that success was a journey, not a destination. Overcoming doubts. As the weeks went by, John continued to move forward. The initial excitement began to fade, replaced by moments of doubt. What if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? These thoughts began to creep in, but John was prepared. He remembered Napoleon Hill's words. Most great people have attained their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure. John realized that failure wasn't the end of the road. It was simply part of the process. He couldn't be afraid of making mistakes. In fact, he embraced the idea of failure because it meant he was trying. He learned to use his failures as stepping stones, not as roadblocks. Each setback was an opportunity to learn and grow. Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. Instead of retreating when things got tough, John chose to push forward. He reached out to mentors, sought advice from others, and continued to adapt. With each step, his confidence grew. The voice of self-doubt became quieter, and the voice of self-belief became louder. The breakthrough. 6 months later, John found himself in a position he had once only dreamed of. His business was growing. His website was attracting traffic, his first clients were coming in, and he was finally making progress toward the goals he had once only talked about. Looking back, he realized that the moment he decided to make day one was the moment everything changed. By committing to action, he had transformed his life. No longer did he have to wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment came when he decided to act. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Take the moment and make it perfect. John's journey wasn't perfect, but it was real, and it was his own. He had started with a dream and turned it into action, and that action had led to the success he had always envisioned. The power of day one. John's story serves as a powerful reminder that success doesn't come from waiting for the perfect circumstances. It comes from taking action, even when you're scared, uncertain, or unsure. The difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who don't is simple. One takes action, the other doesn't. One day is a phrase that keeps you stuck in the same place, trapped by fear and uncertainty. Day one is the moment you break free. It's the decision to start now. It's the commitment to do the work no matter how difficult or uncertain the path may seem. And it's the realization that every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. The starting point of all achievement is desire. Don't wait for one day to come. Start today. Make today your day one, and the future will take care of itself.